Hello again, Gashapon and Bandai Converge fans. So we have a 6 set here. I bought this off eBay for an inflated price, but these are pretty expensive to begin with. This is from the hot website 1999.co.jp. It came out in late February of 2017, and you get 6 of them for around $40. So that seems pricey for a Gashapon, but we'll open these guys up. I like almost all things VOTOMS, in particular small ones, so I can actually fit them in my place. So we're going to take a look at all 6. So naturally there's no original packaging, but at least they look new because they're still in these little plastic baggies. And the baggies are separated so the paint doesn't scratch off from each other. Alright, so this is a scope dog. And it's a pretty... I guess it's your standard scope dog because this is a standard scope dog rifle. Is this rigid plastic? I feel this is rigid plastic, but it's warped. Maybe it's... Yeah, I don't know what happened to this. Maybe it is PVC, but it doesn't feel it. I feel like it'll break if I bend it too much. So this one is weird. And it's molding, right? It's curved. It's like bent downwards. That's not... Maybe they did that on purpose so to clear the figure. We'll see when it goes on. If it was actually straight though, you know, it'd be really nice because there's a lot of molded details going on here. These little, you know, grooves and little dots and stuff, recesses. And then they have gunmetal on top of this, like a blue-gray color. Alright, so we have an antenna, pretty nice and thick, so I don't think that'll break. And this is more of the softer PVC I'm used to. So, granted, actually, that's kind of rigid too. But I think it's like flexing because they're so long. That might be rigid plastic now that I think of it. Alright, so the head here is a separate piece, and it's nice that they have the different paint apps going on. Oh, does this spin? Oh, well that's impressive too. This does spin, separate piece, nice long peg. So silver there, actually it's more of a gunmetal than silver. And then we have metallized green and red and more green in that third hole. Whoop, that thing's so small. So that's actually nice that you can rotate the optics wherever you want them to be. Okay, the rest of it's green. Nothing in there. I think that's supposed to be like a sensor of some sort. The arms also are articulating a round and round system. Yeah, there's molded details in this arm. There's a slightly different green color here. Some crazy glue apparently is holding that in place. Yeah, it's really hard to even notice that this green right here is different from that green right there. They're kind of close to each other. The little spike things they're mimicking, magazines for the arm punch. Nice little extra details here. I've never seen those grooves on VOTOMS. Yeah, that little different green there. And then this torso. No, this does not spin. I think it would be nice if it just had a round and round system there for the peg and the hole. So you could actually twist the torso, but they chose to make it a rectangle, it seems. Really nice vent details, which I've never seen on a scope dog either. It says B China, so Bandai China. I don't know what that is. No date. Bottom of the foot, we have some nice big wheels here and painted a gray, so that's nice. And yeah, nice details all around, which is typical of a Converge figure. I'm not sure what those numbers mean either. Okay. And then they filled in the D-ring here for the suspension, where it's suspended from helicopters, which I think they had to do. Well, I don't know, maybe they could have actually recessed it a little bit more in there, but they didn't. Alright, so, putting this guy together, actually you should probably put this, well, you can rotate the head and then still put this on, the antennae. Actually, that's a tight hole, so I'm going to do it off the figure. See, look at this. This peg is much bigger than that hole. What the... Man. Wow. That's really... Well, luckily the PVC stretches. And that's... You can really... That's not going to move. So now this questionable gun. So the handle is just a straight, like, triangular kind of thing. and it just wedges in here, I guess. Alright, so I think that's why the gun is bent, because the shoulder thing, the butt stock is kind of colliding with the way this arm is, designed. So if you push it in far, it has to be that way. It is a cartoon. This is a cartoon representation of a cartoon robot, so I guess it's fine. Alright, so that's the first one. Probably, maybe the worst one. I don't know, we'll see. We'll do all these green ones and try to get to the better ones towards the end. Design-wise, I think this looks identical, right? Yeah. So the mold is a little bit different. If you look at the arms, this hand is canted downwards, like back this towards the back. This one is relatively straight. I don't know if that's a design choice, or if actually this was just pulled out of the mold differently, and it cooled off differently to have a different position. I can't say for sure, but you'll have to ask. You should decide for yourself if you think it's the same mold. I think the rest of it looks identical, so that's kind of a weak way for them to spread their mold cost around, but not good for collectors. It's interesting that that hole doesn't go all the way through. Alright. So I'm going to put this in kind of more downwards, I guess, just to make it different from the first figure. And then again, this hole is really small compared to the peg. Wow, that's super tight. Alright, but you can get it in there, so we'll leave the green optic in the top position for this one. And then, so the really only the big difference is the bazooka, which I think is supposed to be designed straight, but maybe it's bent because it's PVC. I might have to dip in some hot water to straighten it out. I like that the front end here, or maybe it's the back end, I think that's the back end, is gunmetal. Alright. Yeah, alright. So actually if you push it in enough, it actually makes the thing straighter because it's colliding with the shoulder. Alright. Well, it's slightly different, I guess. Let's see if this one is pretty much the same with a different weapon. Oh no, definitely a different mold. This is a marshy dog. It's got these tanks on the back because it's an amphibious marshland robot. This one has wheels on the side, the other ones have spikes. And yeah, some different venting here. And then again, a barely different green from the rest of the body, but it is under close inspection different. Let's get the antenna. Alright, so yeah, let's pull up these two. So you can see this one has hooks because it's supposed to have a backpack on it. And yeah, totally different mold. This one has armor plates behind the feet. This one has like thrusters or something. The arms are, I think the arms are the same design. Okay. Alright, so that's cool. It's different. And then yeah, it has the proper weapon for a marshy dog, which again looks bent, like it's bowing downwards, but I guess that's on purpose so it doesn't collide. Alright, decent enough details on this little guy. really stuck in there. I'm trying to twist it, but I don't want to ruin the peg. Oh, see, I'm literally tearing that peg off, so I'm gonna have to leave it alone. Alright. Alright, the next one. Change it up with the diving beetle. I'm gonna raise the camera a little bit. So it does have the weapon specific to a diving beetle. It's metallized in the rear and the barrel, and the body and the magazine are basically like a gray, a very light gray color. Interesting. A little extra paint might help this out. You know, some black in the barrel, maybe something for that. Alright. So this one here is like a gray and a blue. As far as the body goes, actually the light gray is here. Unfortunately the light gray didn't cover up this. The paint app wasn't so great. The fist here is just totally closed and it's molded into the arm. I don't think that's gonna move at all. Just like the other ones, the hand doesn't seem to move. But the shoulder does have that round system there. Yeah, a lot of cool details on this guy as well. There's a linkage that goes to these little skid plates or shoes. These are actually supposed to go under the feet at some point and help zip it along. But it does have the ground wheels molded in. And then some, yeah, just general greebly effects. Some venting, Bandai China, some production number of some sort. Yeah, a lot of molded lines, a lot of recesses. So maybe a paint wash in certain areas would really help it out, but for now, I'll just leave it be and pop this in. You know, it would have been nice if they maybe put some of the weapons in the other side. Right now, everyone's a right-handed robot. I mean, it's a robot, right? It doesn't have a it doesn't have a left-handed or right-handed nature. So it would have been cool if they just molded a couple other ones in the other side. At least if it's a different mold, right? Which clearly that is. Alright, so this is a Malquia scope dog. Getting a purplish color. So we're back to the spikes here. And so I think this mold is actually the identical to the green ones, the first two. Right, look. Yeah. It's just a different paint scheme. Okay. Yeah, and as usual, really tight. This hole is so tight. Okay, but it can get in there if you be careful. You might break that peg off if you don't, you know, twist it in the correct fashion. And let's do the red optic on the top of this one. Why not? Oh, actually, that red optic's not very nice. So it's gonna go back to green up top. Well, let's see if I can get this arm off. Boy, gotta try to break the paint or something that's sticking to itself. So I'm like torquing it, trying to flex the paint. I don't know. Another one which I fear might not be able to change his position. Yeah, that's not coming loose. So, but this is an issue. It has to, because the gun is colliding. So, hold on. All right, took a little effort, but I did manage to break it loose. Okay, so. that's identical. I'm going to at least move this one with the red eye at the top. So that one looks alright. Okay, the last one is the British dog, which has a Gatling gun for an arm, which is kind of cool. So we got two different reds on this head here. And as usual, really tight peg there. And then this spins around. Today, let's do that one in a small green up position. And yeah, well, this one actually is a unique mold, so going back to this original green one, this one has drive wheels in the back instead of the bottom. Oh, it does have them on the bottom anyways. Interesting. The backpack here is nice. This side is looking identical. The front is generally identical, the body. So really, it's just this arm is a totally different thing because it has a Gatling gun for an arm. And this one comes off, so that's good. So, yeah, there we go. Not enough metallic paint. I can see a little pink shining through. And then this claw here, I'm going to have to probably take some heat to that and straighten that out. And there's a magazine here. And then this one is the nicest contrast, I think. This and the diving beetle. You know, this light. It's like a tan color, actually, a light tan color on top of the red. Alright, so that's a cool one for sure, being quite different from the other scope dogs. Let me get the spin thing out. Alright, there they are. But you know what? I didn't even measure how tall these are. That might be important to some of you. Maybe it's not, but I also wanted to compare it to a 1/48 scale Takara Actic Gear one. So this looks like the one that's supposed to be the Marshy dog. Alright, so looking at just the height of the helmet here. Sorry about the focus. I would say it's around a little over 5 centimeters, maybe 5.5, and then around 2 inches tall. With the antenna, though, it's going to be a lot bigger, taller than that. So a little over 7 centimeters, or almost 3 inches tall, 2 3/4, I suppose. But here you can see the height difference, the size difference between a more realistic-looking 1/48 scale and this little guy. So it's not quite half the size. So, I don't know, 148, maybe there's like 170 scale. I'm just making up a random number. Totally wrong. It is super deformed. Well, it's not super deformed, but it's definitely deformed as well. It looks a lot cuter and unrealistic than that one. Alright, let's get this back up here. So, very cool. You know, if you like VOTOMS, if you like Gashapon, Gundam Converge, or other Bandai Converge things. They're still robots, but they're not giant robots like a Gundam, but they could fit into that same display. So I'm very happy I got these. I wasn't really happy about the price of them, but yeah, they don't seem to re-release any of these things, the Converge figures. So if they ever re-release them, they'd have to do them in a different paint scheme. They could actually re-release these as metallic greens and metallic colors. That would be a way for them to, make more money again. And if they do that, I'll probably buy them because they'll be regular retail price, which again is a little expensive. Alright, one last thing I want to check is, do the optics of this diving beetle rotate because it's round? I don't know. I would think that that's a separate piece, this gray, but it, if you look at it, it might be glued in place. Seems like a lost opportunity to have a little bit of articulation. so the elbow doesn't move either. So, okay. Well, I will say compared to other Converge figures, though, they don't have as much articulation. A lot of the Gundam figures, their hands are separate pieces, so they can rotate the hands a little bit. So that would have been nice to have. And then, as to why they didn't just let the torso pivot as well as a mystery, it would have made no cost difference whatsoever to have the torso a separate piece, since they actually are separate pieces, they just can't rotate. So it's really strange. Alright, well anyways, thanks for watching today, and I'll see you in the next Converge video.